Hey Craft Cocktail and Tiki Drink fans, we have a fantastic show today. This is actually the third in a three-part series on whiskey Tiki drinks. Now, before we get into that, make sure that you hit that subscribe, like, and hit that notify bell so you're the first to know when we upload new content to this channel. But I still have one thing to do before the break. If you're new to the show, you may not know that we actually publish Wiki Tiki magazine. It's a fantastic publication. It's not a digital download. As you can see, it's a tangible high gloss, and we have Tiki recipes in here, craft cocktail recipes, and news about events and what's going on in the Tiki sphere. So check it out at www.wikitikimag.com. Issues are going quick. Our first issue sold out completely in 3 weeks, and we'll be right back. Hey, did you hit that subscribe button while we were away? We hope so we can continue to bring new content to you every single day. Now, I have to say, I am humbled, and I am so pleased that now we're over 700 subscribers across 57 countries. But that's not why you came today. We're going to take a classic whiskey sour and we're going to tiki it up, and it's going to be a new concoction that you are absolutely going to love. So before we get into actually the mixing, what you're going to need to do is go pillage the fridge, and you're going to need a few things. Today we're going to use bourbon, so go get your favorite bourbon. We're going to get some pineapple chunks, some Orgeat Syrup. We're going to need some lemon juice and 2 ounces of pineapple juice, and then we're going to have to garnish it. So while you're going and pillaging the fridge, I think it's time for the pirate joke of the day. Here you go. Hey landlubbers, it's time for the pirate joke of the day. Today's joke is, what has 8 arms, 8 eyes, and 8 hands? Give up? 8 pirates! Back to the show. Well, I hope you like our little variety show. We try to give you just something a little bit more than just making a cocktail. We try to make it fun, because here at Bourbonbill's Pirate Bar, it's not just a drink, it's an adventure. So let's get mixing so you know what comes after that. All right, so we're going to start off with our mixology and craft mixing Boston shaker set. We use it on the show all the time. It holds up great. We love it. So the first thing we're going to do is start off with some pineapple chunks, and we're going to just dump that right in the mixer. And my good friend Scott was kind enough to give me this wooden muddler. It looks like it'd be a pretty good weapon, but you know, it really does the job, and it holds up great. So we just kind of mash that down in the bottom and get all those juices going and get that all nice and muddled. Now you don't have to worry. I'll show you how to strain out the chunks a little bit later, but we want to just get that all nice and have all that delicious goodness stay in the vessel, not on the mortar. There we go. All right, so this is a whiskey drink. So you can do this with whiskey. You can even do this with rum. It'll still be a little more interesting. Most people are familiar with rum-based tiki cocktails and concoctions, but today we're going to deviate for a little bit for our whiskey lovers out there. Today we're going to use Jim Beam. It's a fine bourbon. Now I know some of you are cringing, but you know what? We don't necessarily want the top shelf. We want good bourbon, but we don't necessarily need the top shelf in a mixed drink, because we're adding other flavors into it, and it might lose, you know, it might be just a little lost on that. So we start off with that. Then the next thing we need is some Orgeat Syrup, O-R-G-E-A-T, but the French pronounce it Orgeat. It's a almond citrusy kind of syrup. Now there are varieties out there. We happen to like the, there we go, First Call. Master of Mixes makes a great one too, so we'll add that in. All right, now we did mention this is like a variation of a whiskey sour, so we need the sour now. So here at Bourbon Bill's Pirate Bar, we go ahead and pre-squeeze our limes and lemons. So add 1 ounce of lemon juice into that mix. And I'm going to tiki this up by adding some pineapple juice. We have some 100% Dole's pineapple today. We're going to add in 2 ounces of pineapple juice. Give it that real tropical sensation. We're going to add just a couple of agitator cubes into here, and we'll give this a good shake. Ooh, I can smell that already. It's gorgeous. All right, now I told you, a lot of people don't necessarily want chunks in their drink. Some people like the pulp, some people don't like the pulp, and so we can alleviate that whole conversation by, I'll show you how to use a strainer the proper way. So get our Bourbon Bill's little Pirate Bar drink mat here. We're going to load up our Tiki glass. This is a pretty drink, so we're going to use it in a glass. A lot of times when you mix so many different things in a Tiki cocktail, truth be told, it comes out kind of a muddy brown. It's not necessarily the most pretty, and that's why the elaborate Tiki mugs, like you see up on the shelf, come in a lot of these cases, because they're not the pretty pinks and blues like a Cosmopolitan or a Blue Hawaii. So we're going to load this up. I'm using cubes today. You could just as easily use crushed ice for this, and it would be great. It'd be almost like if you've seen how to make the perfect mint julep on this channel. So I said we're going to show you how to use the strainer today. Now this is just a typical gated strainer, and the reason they call it a gated strainer, you'll see why. It has this little spring mechanism around it. When you go on, there's usually a hole in the top where you can do some spring action like that, and it's called gating the strainer. So we don't necessarily want all those chunks in there. So the coil will catch most of it, but for the small bits of pulp, we'll just kind of slightly push where that gap allows the liquid come through, but not the chunks. So we're going to pour that right in. Isn't that gorgeous? Does that come all the way up? Okay, now let's talk a little bit about garnishing, because if you want a tiki drink, you want the experience of a drink. Anybody can make a cocktail, and just for your edification, do you know the difference between a mixed drink and a cocktail? A mixed drink usually tells you what the ingredients are, like a gin and tonic, okay? But a cocktail usually is a little more complex, and for a bartender that's a true tiki cocktail bartender, that's like a whole nother level than just just serving beer and wine and basic mixed drinks. There's usually very precise measurements that go into this, and part of that is the garnish. So let's talk a little bit about the garnish. So today we're going to go back to our whiskey roots, our julep roots, and we're going to put in a nice sprig of mint in there, give it a little bit of aromatics, and we're going to add in the pineapple, because it does have some pineapple based things going on. And who doesn't like brandied cherries? So we're going to hoist our pirate flag there. And what tiki drink wouldn't be complete with a color matched umbrella? So there we go. So this there you have it, my friends. This is the whiskey tiki sour, and it concludes the 3 parts of our 3-part whiskey tiki drinks. Check those out when you get a chance. And if you like this video, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. And if you don't mind, put in the comments how yours came out and what city you're from. We really appreciate it. We're compiling a map of all our viewers. And if there's someone you think that might benefit from seeing this, share it out. We would really appreciate that as well. Well, you know what? Enough of Wheeler talking today. Go ahead and enjoy the drinks that you make, and may the seas be following and your rums be spiced. I'm going to go enjoy this right now with some friends. This is Bourbon Bill with Bourbon Bill's Pirate Bar, wishing you all the best, and cheers.